So very good morning everyone. So I hope in yesterday class we completed unit 6.3, right? So what is the 6.3? Budget and budgetary control. How many marks we will get from the chapter? 7 mark problem, right? For getting of 7 mark problem, what are the what are the areas and concepts we have to learn? Exam point of view. So even we have a multiple concepts, we have to focus majorly on 3 areas. One is cash budget preparation, another one is flexible budget preparation, another one production and raw material combo preparation. Why? Because from last 5 attempts they asked a question only based on the 3 concepts. Okay, then fine. Just a quick revision regarding to the budget and budgetary control. So when it comes to the budget and budgetary control, what are the things we learned, ma? What are the things we learned? So first we learned a concept of meaning of budget, budgeting and budgetary control. So budgetary control is a concept we mainly focus on CMA final standard, but when come to inter standard we only focusing on budget and budgeting. So what is meant by budget, ma? Plan for future is nothing but budget. Drafting that future plan is nothing but budgeting, drafting. So in up to yesterday class, what we think we done is nothing but drafting of budgets. Okay, when it come to classification of budgets, so budgets majorly classified based on 3 terminologies: based on functional, based on time, based on capacity. Based on function, again it's subclassified into master budget, functional budget. Next, based on time, it classified into short term budget and long term budget. Some understanding purpose we added another one called current budget. When it comes to the capacity point of view, fixed budget, flexible budget. What is meant by master budget? Consolidation of all functional budgets is known as master budget. What about functional budget? Preparation of budget for each level of activity or function is known as functional budget. So list out the functional budgets, ma. Sales budget, production cost budget. In detail we will not explain, but in calculation we did. So sales budget, sales value budget. Production budget, production cost budget. Material budget, material cost budget. Are you clear now? Next, labor budget, labor cost budget. Next, overhead budget, overhead cost budget. Cash budget. So one budget is there, we are not discussed here. Why? Because it talks about short term. Okay, the budget name is called capital expenditure budget. That is one of the chapter in your cmainter's group 2 FM, capital budgeting. Next, when it come to current budget, preparation of budget for less than 1 month or a current period or today for 1 day itself is known as current budget. What about the short term budget? Preparation of budget for less than 12 months. What about the long term budget? Preparation of budget for more than 12 months. What about the fixed budget? Preparation of a budget for particular level of activity, either 40% or 45% or 80%. Some few problems with it. Next, when it comes to what is meant by flexible budget, preparation of budget for more than one level of activity is known as flexible budget. That is about overview regarding to what, ma? Budget and budgetary control. Okay, done. Next, chapter 6, unit 6.2. Standard costing. What is our next discussion, ma? Standard costing. From this chapter, you will get another 7 marks. So basic 7 mark question. You can easily handle that. Moreover, The learning of standard costing here will give 16 marks in your CMA final. Okay, so this is the basic explanation regarding to the standard costing. By step you will get some standard knowledge. Why? Because here we will discuss two things called material variance and labor variance in your management accounting group 2. And that management accounting we will learn the concept of variable overhead and fixed overhead. When it comes to the final, we will learn material, labor, variable overhead, fixed overhead, sales, and reconciliation and investigation. Are you clear, sir? Okay. Now, first, here you have to understand the difference between three terminology. Budgeted information, standard information, actual information. Budgeted information, standard information, and actual information. Any guesses regarding to these three terminologies? Budgeted information, standard information, actual information. Why you already one meaning, ma? Budget meaning. What's the meaning for budget? Estimation or planned is known as budget. Estimation or planned is known as budget. Estimation or planned is known as budgeted information. What about the standard information, ma? What about the standard information? What about the standard information? Okay, I will give some basic example to understand these three terminologies. At the time of joining cmainter or CMA, that is your long-term planning. Are you right? After completion of CMA, I will get a good job. Yes or no? So that is my planning at the stage of after completion of board of intermediate. Can I name this called budget or planning? Okay. Next, when come to after completion of the planning, you will choose one coaching center. Not only Shikhara, whatever it may be, you will choose one coaching center. They will give at the joining time, they will give schedule. Initially, they will give class timing schedule and a weekend exam schedule. After completion of the syllabus, they will give revision exam schedule. Are you guys clear? That is called standard information. That is called what, ma? Standard information. They will give implementation in the hands of whom? Student or faculty or management? Implementation. Preparation, implementation, which hands? Student hands or management hands? Management hands. Implementation. చదవడం చదవకపోవడం వాళ్ళ చేతిలో ఉంటుందా? ఎవరి చేతిలో ఉంటుంది? స్టూడెంట్స్ చేతిలో ఉంటుంది. That is a comparison between standard and actual. Comparison done by a management. How they compare? We provided schedule, but when come to the actual point of view, నువ్వు అలానే చదువు ఉండొచ్చు, దానికంటే ఎక్కువ చదువు ఉండొచ్చు, దానికంటే తక్కువ చదువు ఉండొచ్చు. But when come to the reality, we are matching with the standard. Yes or no? When come to the comparison of the standard, you can meet standard or you can meet more than the standard or you can meet less than the standard. That comparison happen with help of what information, ma? Actual information. Now the simple terminology, budgeted information means planned. Are you clear? Standard information means allowed. Actual information means incurred. Planned, allowed, incurred. Are you clear? I planned 2000 is a material cost. But when come to the standard, I will compare that amount with actuals. Okay? That is called allowed cost. After allowed cost, in reality, either more than the standard cost or less than the standard cost. That is called cost I incurred. Guys, clear? Without knowing these three terminology, you can't do anything in the standard costing. Are you okay, sir? Now see. What about the standard information, ma? What about the actual information? Are you clear? Any doubt regarding this, ma? Budgeted information, standard information, actual information. Now, out of these three things, which one discuss about output, which one discuss about input? Budget talks about input or output? Budgeted information talks about finished good or inputs. Standard information talks about finished good or inputs. Actual information talks about finished good or input. Now the budgeted information always talks about finished goods. Budgeted information planning is related to what, ma? Finished good. That is nothing but output of an organization. Now the standard information, actual information talks about inputs. Are you guys clear? Now, budgeted information talks about what, ma? Output, that is nothing but finished good. Now my question, budgeted information point of view, we prepared production units. What is the meaning for production units? Finished goods only, na? Output only, na? For everything what you calculated, finished production budget only, na? Yes or no, ma? Now the standard information and actual information talks about what, ma? Inputs. Now the standard information and actual information talks about inputs. What kind of inputs I allowed? How much I incurred? Allowed, incurred. Are you guys okay? Now, what are the inputs we have, ma? These inputs also be known as factors of production. Factors of production. For manufacturing of one commodity, what are the things you are used? That is known as inputs. What are the things you are using? You can take any of the product. We are using lot of things, but we can't list out the lot of things. For list outing, they are giving a common names. All raw material covered under raw material point of view. All labor, skilled, unskilled, semi-skilled covered under labor point of view. All expenses covered under overhead point of view. Guys, clear? So what are the inputs we are using, ma? We are using 4 inputs. The first one is materials. Without materials, you will not get a product. That is the first input. Next, labor. Sir, we are using more than one raw material, more than 10 raw materials. Okay, no issue. All covered under material definition. All covered under which definition, ma? Material definition. Next, when coming to the sometime for a manufacturing of a finished good, you need skilled labor. Sometimes semi-skilled labor, sometimes unskilled labor, all covered under labor list. All covered under labor list. Next, here the expenses are classified into 2 types: direct expenses, indirect expenses. But I am not using the word called direct expenses, indirect expenses. I am using a word called variable overhead, fixed overhead. Variable overhead and fixed overhead. Materials, labor, variable overhead, fixed overhead. This are, we are using these 4 inputs. By using these 4 inputs, you will get a outcome name called finished good or output. Are you okay? So now, when it come to standard information point of view, predetermined cost per unit, predetermined cost per unit, predetermined cost per unit. Budgeting is talks about estimation of expenditure. Now see the difference. Budgeted information, budget means and standard means. What does it mean for budgeted ma? Estimation of expenditure. Expenditure of what? Per unit or total? Total. What about the standard? Predetermined rate for per unit. Do you understand the difference between budget and standard? Yes or no? Why I am explaining all those things means we have to do comparison between standard and actual. But sometimes they will give in the question budgeted information. Okay. So at the time you have to check only thing. They will give budgeted information. In box they will give per unit related. Now even though there is a budgeted word, if they given per unit information, that is called a standard. That is called what ma? Standard. Are you guys clear? The name only changed. But when come to the detailing of the subject only, we understand budget is different, standard is different. But when come to the exam problems point of view, budget and standard are similar words. But you have to think only one thing called, if they will give total point of view, that is called budget. If they will give per unit point of view, even though there is a budget is a word, it is a standard information. Do you understand? If you don't know that logic, you will confuse. Why? Because in material point of view, labor point of view, you have to comparison between standard values and actual values. Instead of standard, they will give budgeted values. But as per theory, you learned budget is different, standard is different. So comparison is not possible. No, here's a budget is a word only. Budget is a word only. We will check with the help of total point of view value and per unit point of view value, not based on name. Not based on name. Guys, clear? Standard information talks about what point of view ma? Per unit point of view. Per unit point of view. Guys, clear? Okay. Now, here one point you have to understand. You already know standard costing. It is a technique of costing. Yes or no ma? For the purpose of cost control and performance measurement. Cost control and performance measurement. Cost control and performance measurement. You already know the meaning of cost control, right? You already know the meaning of cost control. My question, what is the meaning of performance measurement? What is the meaning for performance measurement? In your organization, there is a lot of managers. You have to understand their performance and their abilities. Are you guys clear? For knowing their performance ability, we are using a concept name called standard costing. There is a chapter name called responsibility center, as well as divisional performance measurement. Two chapters in your MA, management accounting, that also linked to this chapter name called standard costing. So standard costing using for two purposes. What is the first purpose? Cost control. The second purpose is performance measurement. Performance measurement of what? Human beings only, na? The human beings are managers. Are you okay? So I will discuss few managers relating to production department. Production manager. Production manager. The person production manager is liable for or responsible for usage of raw material, labor efficiency, ideal time. The production manager is responsible for what are the things, ma? Usage of raw material, labor efficiency, ideal time. You will get more knowledge after calculation of the problems, ma. But just understand, the person production manager is liable, responsible for what are the things in the organization? Usage of raw material, labor efficiency, ideal time. Are you okay? Next. Purchase manager. Purchase manager. He is responsible for purchase of go with the materials. Purchase of materials. Instead of materials, you can go with the raw material. That is a good word. Purchase manager only responsible for what, ma? Purchase of materials. Next. Personnel is also be known as HR manager. Personnel or HR manager. Personnel or HR manager. He was responsible for wage rates, salaries, and salaries. Cost accountant or top level management. Cost accountant or top level management. They are responsible for expenditure. They are responsible for expenditure. Cost accountant or top level management is responsible for what, ma? Expenditure of the organization. Clear? Where we are. So what is the role in the manufacturing means? This is the role. We are responsible for what, ma? Expenditure planning. So in manufacturing companies, if after completion of CMA, if you get a job in MNC, manufacturing company, you will get a role name called what role ma? Expenditure planning manager. Are you guys clear? So this classification not for all companies ma, depends upon the size of the organization. Okay, if size of the organization is large means they will appoint one manager for one department. If organization size is small, production manager will act as a purchaser manager also. Okay, production manager act as a personal or HR manager also. Okay, production manager as act as a cost accountant also. Guys, clear? This is based on the size of the organization, but this will help you to learn the variances instead of by hearting the formulas. Instead of by hearting the formulas, if you know this concept, you can easily understand the how the calculation came. Are you okay? Now, production manager is responsible for what ma? Raw material point of view usage, labor point of view efficiency, labor point of view ideal time also. Okay, so if there is a more ideal time, top level management will ask a question, which manager? Production manager. Now labor are not work effectively, at the time also top level management will ask a question, whom? Purchase manager or personal manager? Production manager. Okay, now raw material planned rate per kg 2 rupees, you purchased at 3 rupees, you incurred more cost or less cost? Planned. As per logic, as per our estimation, as per our knowledge, you said there is a chance of 1 kg 2 rupees, but in reality you purchased at 3 rupees. Not the 1 rupee extra cost is there na? Who will spend? Company will spend. Company will ask a question to whom? Production manager or purchaser manager? Purchaser manager. Why you spend that 1 rupee extra? You only said na, the estimated value is 2 rupees, but in reality why you are purchased at 3 rupees? That kind of question top level management will ask which manager? Purchase manager. At the time of day 1, the wage rate planned is 200 per employee, 200 per worker. Are you clear? I asked my personal manager, I am planning for this production, please tell me how many labor is needed, how much per labor I need to spend. He said 100 people is needed, 100 people is needed, per person 100 rupees is a wage estimation. But when come to the reality, they spent 120 rupees, 20 rupees extra they paid now. That is a cost to company only. Now the company will ask which manager? Production manager or HR manager? HR manager. Why you paid extra 20 rupees? When it come to efficiency, production manager. Guys, clear? Okay. Now when it come to, I asked my one of the manager, what is the demand for our product? What is the demand for our product? The demand is 10,000 units. Which manager will set the demand? Which manager will set the demand? Production manager will set the demand. Planned units. Are you guys clear? Now one of the manager I asked, for, you said already 1 lakh is a planned units. For 1 lakh manufacturing of units, how much fixed overhead I need to spend? Fixed overhead I need to spend. Which manager will answer that question? Cost accountant or top level management will answer that question. Guys, clear? After planning, reality what may be happen? Maybe increase or decrease. That is called variance. That is called what ma? Variance. In simple term, the standard costing means variance. Difference. Are you guys clear? Difference between what and what ma? Standard versus actual. First we will fix the standard. Guys, clear? Then we will get, eventually we will get actual. Are you okay? Take an example to understand this. Up to here, okay? Now what is the basic difference between budget and standard? Budget is a planning or a, estimation of the expenditure. Standard also estimation only, but not expenditure per unit input. Now budget talks about total output. Now standard talks about inputs. Are you guys clear? Next. So planned raw material 10,000, planned labor cost 5,000, planned variable overhead 10,000, planned fixed overhead 20,000. Now what about the total cost, ma? మీ బ్రెయిన్ యూజ్ చేయదు కానీ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ వాడుతుంది. 40, I decided selling price, ma, 60,000. I already decided selling price. So in simple sense, selling price remains constant. Forget about the selling price. Okay. Now what is the profit? What about the profit, ma? Profit 15,000. Now tell me that 15,000 profit is actual profit or planned profit? I estimated for raw material 10,000, labor cost 5,000, variable overhead 10,000, fixed overhead 20,000. The total cost is, planned total cost is 45,000. The selling price is 60. You will get a planned profit 15,000. Let us check the reality. The reality is nothing but actual. When you will get actual? Day 1 or end of the month? End of the month. Eventually you will get actuals. Okay. The planning we are doing at day 1. The actuals you know at after end of the month. Are you clear, sir? Now the actual raw material cost is 12,000. The actual raw material cost is what, ma? 12,000. Why the raw material cost are increases, ma? Different reasons we can't express. There is a different reasons. Now the point is, few reasons are controllable, few reasons are uncontrollable. Controllable reasons, uncontrollable reasons. What are the controllable reasons? Your purchase manager, he will not bargained. He paid what amount they are asked by a seller. But it can be controllable, na? If you ask, they will give discount. If you ask, they will give what, ma? Discount. But you not discussed about the discounts. You just paid. Controllable or uncontrollable? మీ పర్చేస్ మేనేజర్ రా మెటీరియల్ కొన్నాడు కదరా, 10,000 అది. ఆడికి వెళ్ళి చెప్తే 12,000 అన్నాడు, క్యాష్ ఇచ్చి వచ్చేసాడు. తప్ప కాదా? పోయి మేము ఇంత బల్క్గా కొంటున్నాం కదా, మాకు డిస్కౌంట్ ఇవ్వండి అంటే ఇస్తారా? ఇరా. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? యాక్చువల్ కాస్ట్ తగ్గేదని ఛాన్స్ ఉందా? బట్ మనోడు డిస్కౌంట్ అడిగాడా? అడగలేదు. కాబట్టి అది కంట్రోలబులా, అన్కంట్రోలబులా? కంట్రోలబుల్. ఆర్ యు క్లియర్? రష్యా ఉక్రెయిన్ వార్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్. This raw material importing from the Russia. Are you guys clear? Now due to that strikes etc., petrol changes increases due to inflation, the prices of raw material is increases. Yes or no? There is one of the chance, na? Now that can be controllable or uncontrollable? Uncontrollable. Hope you guys okay? Now, so due to different reasons, the raw material cost is planned 10,000, the actual is 12,000. Increased or decreased? Increased. Sometimes there is a chance for a decrease also. Are you okay now? Next, labor cost. The labor cost 8,000. Labor cost 8,000. What happened? Labor cost planned 5,000, actual 8,000. When the cost of labor will be increased means if supply is less, demand is more. For workers are 10 people, needed is 100 people. Do you understand the logic? There is a shortage in labor. At that time they will ask a high amounts of wages. That is happens. Due to war also, due to different reasons also, the cost will be increased. The only reason is either controllable reason or uncontrollable reason. Next one, Variable overhead. Due to government changes, the electricity charges will be increases. Yes or no? No? It's a part of the variable overhead only. Now, 15,000. Now, when it comes to the fixed overhead, 10,000. When it comes to the fixed overhead, 10,000. Sir, why fixed overhead decreases, sir? I removed my salaried employees in my organization. Layoffs. Yes or no? If I remove salaried employee, fixed cost, what happen? Decreases. Previously, I have a 2 rented premises factories. Now I constructed my own building. Now what happened? The rent decreases. That is the reason for fixed overhead decrease. There is a chance for increase also. I am explaining here what may be happen. I don't know. Either increase or decrease in the reality. But I will give a reasons for increase, what happened, decrease, what happened. Okay. Now tell me the total cost, actual total cost. Actual total cost, ma? Again 45,000, huh? Go with your 18,000. How much, ma? I already said, forgot about the selling price. It means selling price remains constant only now. Now tell me the actual profit. Now the concept totally relay between these two. Planned profit how much? Actual profit how much? What is the reason? Due to increase decrease in the cost. Decreasing in the cost. Guys, clear? Yes or no, ma? That is called standard costing. Is also been known as variance analysis. Now 15,000, 5,000, the gap is known as difference. Are you clear? Now profit variance. What is the meaning for variance, ma? Difference. What are the reasons for this variance came, ma? There is a 2 reasons, ma. One is cost, another one is sales. 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 Clear? But in our example, sales remains constant. Sometimes there is a difference in the sales also. For the impact of the profit, 2 reasons. Either cost changes or sales changes. When it comes to the cost changes, ma, cost variance, sales variance. When it comes to the cost variances, again it is split into 4 variances. Material cost variance, labor cost variance, overhead cost variance, fixed overhead cost variance. The difference in profit came because of two reasons. What are the two reasons? Either cost difference or sales difference. Now the cost difference reasons are four: material cost difference, labor cost difference, variable overhead cost difference, fixed overhead cost difference. Are you okay now? Now, when it come to these two, we will discuss in group 1 costing. These two we will discuss in group 2 costing. That is nothing but management accounting. This sales variance also it is a concept we will discuss in group 2 costing. Now the entire discussion we will discuss in group 3 SCM in final. Here you will get only 7 marks. In final 16 marks. Sorry, 14 marks. 14 plus 2 MCQ, 16 marks. Okay. Some more concepts will be added like reconciliation, etc. But this is a overview regarding to the standard costing. Okay. Now without late, I will start with the concept number 1, material cost variances. Concept number 1, material cost variance. Now see ma, how much is the difference ma? Increasing cost or decreasing cost ma? Increasing cost. It is a favorable to your organization or negative to your organization ma? Negative. How you decide it is a positive or negative? How you decide a positive or negative? Sir, if due to the difference, if my profit is increases, it is a positive reason. Due to the difference, my profit is decreases, that is a negative reason. Instead of positive negative, we are using a terminology favorable adverse. Favorable adverse. How you decide favorable adverse ma? If profit increases, favorable. If profit decreases, adverse. Are you guys clear? Now due to the 2000, your profit increase or decrease ma? Decrease, huh? Profit. Yes or no? If cost increases means profit, what happened? Now instead of minus symbol, we are using just adverse. Are you guys okay? Now that point I will mentioning here. If profit increases, favorable. If profit decreases, adverse. If cost decreases, that is nothing but profit increasing. Yes or no ma? If cost increases, adverse. P means profit ma, not price. Go with the full forms. Okay, ma? Now, forget about the planned budget, standard, that kind of things. There is a comparison between standard and actuals only, na? Are you yes or no? Now, how the 2000 came with help of formula? Planned minus actual. Instead of planned, I am using a word called standard. Standard cost minus actual cost. Material cost variance equals to standard cost minus actual cost. Now what about the standard cost, ma? 10,000 minus actual cost 12,000. The answer? No, minus 2,000 adverse. 2,000 adverse. Now my question, ma. Now my question. How will you get the 10,000, ma? How will you estimate? How will you estimate? How the 10,000 is came? Planned only. Planned means you can say roughly, na? 10,000, 5,000. You can say roughly, na? Previous year. There is no previous year information. There is no previous year information. Can anyone? Simple, ma. Standard quantity into standard price per unit. Estimated quantity into estimated price per unit. Standard quantity is nothing but estimated quantity. Who will use that estimated quantity? Production manager. Are you guys clear? Into standard price per unit. Standard price per unit. This is the way formula you get, ma. This is the way formula came. How the 10,000 came, ma? Standard quantity into standard price per unit. You will get what? Rupees of 10,000. Rupees of 10,000. Are you got it? Now how you get that 12,000? You purchased actual quantity, na? At what price? Actual price. Actual quantity into actual price per unit. Actual quantity into actual price per unit. Here any by heading is there, ma? So how to calculate material cost variance? Standard cost minus actual cost. How to calculate standard cost? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Are you okay now? Now, what is the answer? Numerical answer? 2000, right? Positive 2000 or negative 2000? Negative 2000. Now, top level management will ask about that negative 2000. Huh? Yes or no? Now, top level management will call which manager? Production manager. Yes or no? No? Wrong answer. Production manager as well as purchase manager. Both people they will call. Why? Because standard quantity is involved, standard price is involved, actual quantity is involved, actual price is involved. Guys, clear? They will call two people. What are the two people here? Production manager, purchase manager. Now, without proper logic, ఇద్దరిని తిట్టచ్చా? ఇద్దరు తప్పు చేస్తుండొచ్చు లేదా ఒకరే తప్పు చేస్తుండొచ్చు. అలానే మనం ఇద్దరిని తిట్టలేంగా. మరి ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? వై? బికాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్ మేనేజర్ ఓన్లీ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఫర్ యూనిట్స్. పర్చేస్ మేనేజర్ ఈజ్ ఓన్లీ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఫర్ రేట్. Purchase of rates. Yes or no? Now top level management can't scold two people at a time. Okay, they need to figure out reasons. Now for the purpose of reason, the negative 2000 came because of two reasons. Two reasons. What are the two reasons, ma? Quantity used purchase rates. Quantity used and purchase rates. Quantity used and purchase rates. Quantity used and purchase rates. Now quantity used is responsible for which manager? Production manager. Purchase rates is responsible for? Purchase manager. Are you guys clear? Now, the first reason we figure out that the 2000 adverse came because of difference in the quantity. Yeah? Difference in the quantity. What are the quantities we have? Standard quantity minus actual quantity. The difference we identified. Now my question, standard quantity minus actual quantity, you will get rupees. Huh? Standard quantity minus actual quantity, you will get rupees. Huh? You will get just units. What you want? 2000 came reason, rupees reason you need. How you get rupees? Quantity into price. Na? The difference is standard quantity minus actual quantity into price. Which price? Two prices is there. Standard price is there, actual price is there. Which price? Standard price or actual price? Standard price. Why? Because production manager don't know about the reality. Production manager don't know about the reality. That's why you have to multiply with what, ma? Standard price. Now see this formula. Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into the rupees is came. Now rupees is came. Now you have to give a name for this. The name of this variance is known as material usage variance. Material usage variance. Material usage variance. Guys, clear? Now when it comes to the another reason, the another reason came because of difference in the prices. Huh? Difference in the prices. What are the prices we have, ma? Standard price minus actual price. Due to the differences, you will get rupees. Huh? You will get rupees. Huh? Only price change only we identified. If you multiply with quantity, you will get cost. Are you guys clear? Now into, you have a two types of quantity, standard quantity, actual quantity. Which quantity you have to multiply? Why actual quantity? Purchaser manager knows only actuals. Purchaser manager only knows what, ma? Actual. That's why I multiply with what quantity? Actual quantity. Now when come to the formula point of view, standard price into actual quantity minus actual price into actual quantity. Name for this variance is known as material price variance or difference. Material price variance. Standard price into where, ma? Standard price into actual quantity, actual price into actual quantity. Ikkada. Why? First I am find out in the difference. Where is the difference? Price. Standard price minus actual price. Now I need to multiply with quantity. I will get cost. Yes or no? No. Now I have a doubt. Two quantities there. Standard quantity is there. Actual quantity is there. Now when come to the price point of view, the person is responsible, purchase manager. He don't know about the standard quantity. He knows about actual quantity. That's why I will consider actual quantity. How this formula will get? Standard price into actual quantity, actual price into standard quantity. Now standard price into actual quantity minus actual price into actual quantity. Clear? Now when it comes to the usage point of view, the difference came because of usage. Na? The usage is nothing but standard quantity minus actual quantity. Now this is not a cost. If I multiply with price, I will get cost. Now when come to the multiplication of the price, I have a doubt. There is a standard price, there is a actual price. At the time I will ask a responsible manager, the person who is responsible for this, production manager. Production manager don't know about the actual prices, he knows only standard prices. I multiply with standard price. Basic max only, no? Now the standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into standard price. Guys, clear? Any doubt? By head is needed? Clear? If you know the concept, you can easily crack final level problems now only. Are you okay now? Clear ma? Now, when it comes to reconciliation, material cost variance equals to material usage variance plus material price variance. Now, what is the material cost variance formula? Standard cost minus actual cost. Now, how you get a standard cost? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. When it comes to material usage variance, we are not writing direct formula. We go with the logic. Difference in the quantity. Standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. That is nothing but standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into standard price. Next, plus price variance. First we figure out the difference in the prices. Standard price minus actual price into quantity, I will get cost. What quantity? Actual quantity. The reason behind that, purchase manager knows only actuals. Now what? Standard price into actual quantity minus actual price into actual quantity. You can observe. What happened? Actual quantity into standard price into actual quantity, both are same only, na? Plus minus get cancel. Now what are the pending? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Reverse, don't worry. Actual quantity into actual price. What about the cost variance? Same only, na? This is called reconciliation. This is called what, ma? Reconciliation. Okay. Now for example, here you will get 1000 adverse. Here you will get 1000 adverse. Now what is the summation of usage variance and purchase variance? 2000 adverse. Now check the cost variance. 2000 adverse. Now what is the meaning of 1000 adverse and 1000 adverse? Due to usage 1000 variances came. Due to prices 1000 variances came. Total 2000 cost variance. Okay. Sometime you will get like this. 1000 adverse, 1000 favorable, 3000 adverse. 1000 favorable, 3000 adverse. Now tell me the reason for this. 1000 favorable, 3000 adverse. Add these two. What happened? Positive, negative. 2000 negative. Cost variance 2000 negative completed. Now when come to the subject point of view, why this 1000 favorable is came? Production manager did a fantastic job. He planned usage units are less. He planned 10 kgs, but he used only 8 kgs. 2 kgs saved for the organization. Yes or no? No? Now I can't scold him. I need to praise him. Are you okay? Who is the black sheep here? Purchase manager. Purchase manager did a fantastic job. Worst job. 5 రూపాయలు కేజీ కొనుక్కురారంటే 12 రూపాయలు కొనుక్కొచ్చాడు. The price difference, that only, no? That is the standard price minus actual price. Guys, okay? Now just I am changing here. Now what is the logic behind this? Ultimately cost variance 2000 adverse only, no? Why? Because 3000 minus 1000 plus. What happened? 2000 minus only. Cost variance okay. Now what is the reasons here? Purchaser manager did a good job. He asked a lot of discounts. He inquired a lot of sellers. He paid at less prices. When it come to the usage, for manufacturing of 10 units, for manufacturing of 1 unit, you have to use 5 kgs, but you use 10 kgs. That extra 5 kgs used loss for the organization only, no? The loss came into the 3000 adverse. Sir, clear? Okay. Now don't by heart the formula, understand the logic behind the formula. Okay. Let us revise once again. Now first, material cost variance. How to calculate material cost variance, ma? Standard cost minus actual cost. How to calculate standard cost? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Here you will get one answer. The reason for that answer is two reasons. Either price difference or quantity difference. If it is a quantity difference, that is called material usage variance. Material usage variance came because of what reason? Difference in the quantity. Standard quantity minus actual quantity. It is not a cost. If you multiply with price only, it will convert into cost. What price I need to consider? Why standard price? Production manager don't know about the actual price. Clear? Now I multiply with what, ma? Sorry. Standard price. Now if you want formula, how to convert this into formula, ma? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into standard price. Okay. What is the reason for cost variance? Second reason, price difference. Now the price difference is known as material price variance. The price difference, standard price minus actual price. Now it is not a cost. If multiply with quantity only, you will get cost. Now which quantity you have to multiply? Actual quantity. Why? Because purchaser manager don't know about the standard quantity. He knows about actual quantity. Now standard price into actual quantity minus actual price into actual quantity. Are you guys okay? Clear? Now here you have to understand some note points, ma. Full forms, ma. SQ means anyone? Standard quantity, right? Now don't use the word standard quantity anywhere. Use the word standard quantity for actual output. Where you are using a SQ means, what is the full form for SQ? Standard quantity for actual output. They will give question for standard quantity for standard output. We don't want that. What we want? Standard quantity for actual output. Whenever you are comparing two things, నువ్వు ఎప్పుడైనా రెండు కంపారబుల్స్ని కంపేర్ చేస్తున్నామంటే వాళ్ళిద్దరూ సేమ్ అయి ఉండాలి. స్టాండర్డ్ అవుట్పుట్ is different, actual output is different. We can't compare both equally. That's why I am converting standard quantity for what output? Actual output. Now SQ also for actual, AQ also for actual. Then you can easily compare. Guys, clear? That is about standard costing. They will use standard quantity for standard information. I don't want that. I have to convert that standard information to actual output. I will put all actual information what they given. I will compare both. Okay. That is the importance of the full form. What is the meaning for SQ? Standard quantity for standard output or actual output? Actual output. If they give standard output, what happen? You have to convert. How to convert? I will explain. Are you okay? Sometimes they will use standard quantity for actual output itself. At that time, no issue. Standard for actual only, actual also, actual only. You can easily compare. Now, please tell me the full form for SQ, ma. Standard quantity for so The only thing you have to understand SQ. Don't worry about the AQ. AQ always expresses actual output only. Now you can, if you want, write that AQ also. Actual output for actual quantity for actual output. It always expresses actual. There is no other discussion. But SQ, in question they will express us about the standard output. But don't we now we are not wanting that standard output. We wanting actual output. Do you understand? Now another note ma. Standard quantity is not equivalent to budgeted quantity. Standard quantity is not equivalent to budgeted quantity. Standard quantity is not equivalent to budgeted quantity. Why? Budgeted quantity talks about output or finished good. Standard quantity talks about input. That is nothing but raw material kgs. Raw material kgs. That's why if they provide a budgeted quantity, don't consider that. Are you okay? What is requirement? Standard quantity only requirement. Next ma. Standard price equals to budgeted price ma. Standard price equals to budgeted price. Standard price equal to budgeted price. Now what is the logic behind this? How you figure out predetermined rate as per over its chapter? Budgeted cost divided by budgeted units only na. Now that is nothing but SP. Standard price. Okay. But standard quantity is not same as budgeted quantity, but standard price is nothing but budgeted price. Are you okay? Predetermined rate per unit. Predetermined rate per unit. Sir? Standard price. When it comes to budgeted quantity, standard quantity. Budgeted quantity talks about inputs. Budgeted quantity talks about finished good. Standard quantity talks about. But when it comes to the standard quantity or standard price or budgeted price talks about per unit only. Clear? Budgeted quantity talks about finished good. Standard quantity talks about unit of raw material. But either standard price or budgeted price talks about what? Per unit only, no? Per unit determined is nothing but what? Standard price per unit. That's the logic is sufficient. In final, we will discuss more about that. Okay? Are you clear now? Do you understand these points? Okay. Open page number. What? Okay, okay. Okay, see illustration number 16. After completion of the class, you will get material. Now see illustration number 16. Here last two things I not discussed, ma. Okay, just I will give a clarity for that also. Just focus on the these three things we learn na. Material cost variance, material price variance, material usage variance. Read the question properly. ఏందా జూమ్ చేయాలా? The standard cost of certain chemical mixture is as under 40% of material A at 20 per kg. Can I name it is called standard price for A? 60% of material B at 30 rupees per kg. For material B standard price 30 rupees. A standard loss 10% is expected in production. Okay. The following actual cost data is given for the period. Now, so forget about the BIMA. Forget about the go with the AB only. Now, 180 kgs of material A at cost of 18 per kg. Can I name it is called AQ? Can I name it is called AP of A? Next, AQ of B, AP of B. The weighted produce is, can I name it is called what? Actual output. Actual output. Now, preparation of cost sheet, cost code is very important for standard problem, standard costing problem. Now, what's the problem number it is? Now the cost code is like this: materials, standard quantity, standard price, actual quantity, actual price. Here I am explaining only 3 variances, but here we can express 5 variances. That is the next discussion. First understand the basic version. Now, material A, material B. This is called input, loss, output. If you prepare this cost code, you can easily answer. Now when it come to output is given a 360 kgs. I said already, standard quantity full form, standard quantity for actual output. It means here also same only, na, 360 kgs. Okay, please tell me the actual quantities given in the question paper. 180, 220. 180, 220. What about the AP? 18, 34. Now please tell me the AQ total inputs. 180 plus 220. You used inputs are 400, but the output came only 360 kgs. What is the gap? Loss. Clear? 40 kgs. These are just understanding purpose only. We required above AB information. Now, in question they specified loss equals to at the rate of how much ma? Standard loss 10%. The common sense, if inputs are 100%, the loss is how much percentage? 10%. How much output you will get? 90%. Are you clear? Now, standard input equals to 90% of output, that equivalent to 360 kgs. What about the 100% input? What ma? Clear? Logic behind the calculation, do you understand? Now the loss is how much ma? 40 kgs. Okay. Now they expressed percentages. How much is the percentages ma? 40%, 60%. Now 400 into 40%. 400 into 60%. How much ma? 2. For A how much? 160. For B? This is the way you have to calculate standard quantities. Any confusing here? Yes or no ma? Now what about the standard prices given in the question paper? 20, 30. Standard quantity of A. How to calculate standard quantity of A? Inputs 400 kgs. Out of that 40% 160 kgs. Standard quantity of B, how you calculated ma? First you figure out that input 400 kg into 60%, that equivalent to 240 kg. Ma, sometimes you can calculate alternative way also is there ma. Standard quantity of A equal to 360 kgs into 40 divided by 90. Answer? Standard quantity of B 360 kgs, that equivalent to 90%. I want 60%. Now if you use this input as a base, that equivalent to 90%, you want 40% and 60%. That is the second calculation. If you figure out that this input, you can apply direct percentages and inputs. Both will be correct only. Okay. Now material cost variance. What is the formula for material cost variance? Standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Now material cost variance of A. Standard quantity please. 160 160 into 20 minus 180 into 18 for B. 240 into 30 minus 220 into 34. Now please tell me the answers ma. What 40? A. Answer 40. Adverse or favorable? For B 280. Total what ma? 320 adverse. What next, ma? Material usage variance. When it comes to material usage variance, how to calculate material usage variance, ma? Standard quantity minus actual quantity into. What is the reason behind the standard price? Production manager knows only about standards, not actuals. Okay. Now when it comes to A, ma, standard quantity, please. 160, yeah, minus 180 into standard price. Full formula is not needed, but directly you will get answer like this. What about the standard price? 20, yeah. Answer? Adverse. B, ma, 240 minus 220. 240 minus 220. Standard price for B how much, ma? 30. Answer? 600 what? Favorable. What about the net, ma? 200 favorable. Next, ma. Material price variance, ma. Standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. For A, 20 minus 80, na? Actual quantity. Answer? Favorable. If it is a favorable means manager did a good job. If it is adverse means he did a worse job. Either price point of view or usage point of view. The two reflect on cost point of view. Okay, na? Now what about the prices here? Standard price of B, 30. In first case they did a good job. In second case they did a worse job. 30 rupees is the estimated purchase price, but you purchased at 34 rupees. You paid 4 rupees extra, na? Yes or no, ma? That is the conceptual adverse reason. Into 880. Answer? 520. If you combine this usage and price variance, you need to get a cost variance answer. That is a proof. Now sum these two. 520 minus 200 of what? Adverse only, na? Check with the cost variance. Proved. Are you okay? The only difficult thing is standard quantity calculation. Are you okay? Now see, standard quantities we figure out it. They are not given directly. How we figure out it? We already know the logic. Either standard quantity or actual quantity for what output? Actual output. That's why I recorded first output. There is a clue. Standard loss is 10%. It means if you give inputs 100%, the loss is 10%. Output is equivalent to 90%. By using the logic of 90% equivalent to 360 kgs, I want 100% of inputs. I calculated standard input. For standard input for what? Actual output only, now. Why? Because I compared with 360 kgs only. Now the actual input for standard input for actual quantity, actual output is 400 kgs. Now that 400 kgs into 40% material A, 60% material B. Are you okay? Now this, if you know the preparation of this cost card, ఈ table వేసుకోగలిగితే you can easily answer. Are you okay, sir? Clear? Now see this solved case study 1 ma. Solved case 1. Standard quantity of material for a producing 1 unit of finished product P is 5 kgs. The standard price is 6 per kg. During the particular period, 500 units of P were produced. What is the meaning for 500 units? Actual output. Actual output. The actual material consumed was 2700 kgs. The cost of rupees 16,200. The owner subji requested his son Nikhil to calculate direct material cost variance. Now see the logic. This is called actual output, not actual quantity. Now this is called actual quantity. Now this is called what? Actual quantity into actual price. Check that once. The actual for 2700 kgs, the cost is 16,200. For actual output, the actual cost means what? Actual quantity into actual price only now. Now with help of these two elements, can I figure out AP? How I get AP? 16,200 rupees divided by 2700 kgs. Now sometimes they will give directly AQ into AP value. Okay, clear now? Now they are asking material cost variance, standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Can I take directly 16,200 here? Now standard price I know 6 rupees. What about the standard quantity? 1 unit 5 kgs are required. What about the actual units? 500 units. Yes or no ma? 1 unit, how many kgs is needed? 5 kgs. For which output? Standard output or actual output? Actual output of 500 kgs. That is the definition of standard quantity. Now tell me standard quantity please. 2500 what? Kgs. Now 2500 kgs. Now 2500 into 6. What ma? 15,000. The actual cost is 16,200. The answer? 1200. Now what is the reason for 1200 adverse? Either usage variance or price variance. First prepare a cost card ma for this problem. Standard quantity, standard price, actual quantity, actual price. One material or more than one material? One raw material or more than one raw material? Only raw material one. There is no AB. But in our classroom discussion, we discussed about AB. There is some more discussion. If there is a more than one raw material, yield and mix variance will come. But here is a discussion regarding to the only single raw material. If it is a single raw material, we can calculate only 3. One is cost variance, usage variance, price variance. Now standard quantity, I already figured out. 5 into 500 units. Now that is nothing but 2500 kgs. Now standard price 6 rupees. Actual quantity 2700. Now actual price also I figure out it. 6 rupees only na. Now how the 6 rupees is came? 16,200 divided by 2700. Now we just calculated material cost variance. 2500 into 6 minus 2700 into 6. That equal to 1200 adverse. Now please calculate material price variance ma. How to calculate price variance? Standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. Now what about the standard price? 6 minus 6 into actual quantity. 2000. The answer is now standard equivalent to actual. He not did a good job as well as worst job. He did his job. Who? Purchase manager. Material usage variance. Standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Standard quantity, please. 2500 kg minus 2700 kg into standard price 6 rupees. 1200. Now sum these two, price and usage. 0 plus 1200 only, na? Adverse or favorable? Now the black sheep is production manager. Can I know the production manager performance based on this? Can I know the purchase manager performance based on this? Yes or no? Any doubt regarding to the material cost variance? If they will give one raw material, if they will give two raw material, we will discuss in next class. The discussion name is called mix variance and yield variance. Now see this one, ma. These are the examples, ma, in our board book. Arun, the owner of Lotus Limited, is worried about the variance in direct material cost of his fountain pen manufacturing unit, Lotus Limited. The manufacturing unit has adopted standard costing system and a particular month has extracted following information. Material for 70 kgs of finished product, they required 100 kgs of what? Raw material. This is the mix set for the standard quantity. Next, price of material. Can I name it? Is called standard price? Yes or no? But the 100 kgs and 70 kgs is not a standard quantity. It is a clue we have. Are you okay? Next, actuals. The output 2 lakh 10,000 kgs. It is not a standard quantity. It is a what? Actual output. It is not actual quantity of raw material, it is actual output. Now material used, can I name it? Is called actual quantity. Actual quantity. Next, cost of material, can I name it? Is called actual quantity into actual price. Yes or no? Any doubt regarding this? It is not an actual price. What it is? Actual cost. How we get actual cost? Actual quantity into actual price. Now based on this, can I figure out the actual price? How? 2,52,000 divided by 2,80,000. Now the answer? If you get exact value, then consider the value. If it is not get exact value, go with this value only. Okay? What is the answer? Exact value was 0.9. 0.9. All is there except one. What is the missing one? Standard quantity. Now what is the full form for standard quantity? What is the meaning for standard quantity? Standard quantity, SQ means standard quantity for actual output. Now 70 kgs of finished good, they need 100 kgs of raw material. What about the actual output? For 2000 kg, 2,10,000 kgs of raw material, how many units is needed? Guys, clear? Very, very important point. Don't misunderstand. Output also kgs point of view, raw material also kgs point of view here. Are you okay? Now, how you write this? 70 kgs of finished good need 100 kgs. Yes or no? No. What is the actual finished good total? 2,10,000 finished good. How many raw material is needed? That is called standard quantity. Are you okay? If you write reverse manner, you will get a reverse answer. How much? 3,10,000. 3 lakh. See here. For 70 kgs of finished good, company need how many kgs of raw material? How many kgs of raw material? 100 kgs of raw material. Now the actual output is how many kgs, ma? Now the 2,10,000 kgs of finished good needed how many kgs of standard quantity? Now standard quantity, please. 3 lakhs. Standard price 1 rupee. Actual quantity 2,80,000. Actual price 0.9. Now please tell me the material cost variance. 3 lakh into 1 minus 2.8 lakh into 0.9. $48,000 of what? Favorable. Now material price variance, please. 1 minus 0.9 into actual quantity 2,80,000. $20. Favorable. Material usage variance, please. 3 lakh minus 2.8 lakh into standard price 1. 20,000. Favorable. Total 48,000. Proof okay. You can observe in every problem there is only issue with standard quantity calculation. In our first discussion, with help of output, we calculated input, we applied percentage and input. That is the first kind of working note we did for the standard quantity. In second problem, they used 1 unit equals to 5 kgs. We multiplied it with actual output, we will get actual quantity, standard quantity for actual output. For this problem, what we did, they provided a equation, 70 kgs of finished good, they need 100 kgs of raw material. Are you clear? Now the finished good is for what? Standard quantity. Actual finished good. The actual finished good is needed is how much? 2,10,000. Now 2,10,000 into 100 divided by 70, you will get a standard quantity. Are you okay? That's about single raw material problems. So tomorrow I will explain mix variance and yield variance. Tomorrow we will finish the material concept. We will start the labor calculation part. Okay. For 2 days it will close. After that we are going to start with the marginal costing. Okay. Thank you.